needs to not date Jimmy. I just want to be a hater on that relationship. That's all I'd say about that.
Yeah. Hook Jimmy up with Power Girl.
Yeah.
Hey, hook Jimmy up with Power Girl. They were cute in the comics. Yeah.
I didn't even know they dated.
Yeah, they did. And Power Girl actually admired Jimmy because he was one of the few guys that wasn't, paying attention to a specific part of her, Like
Wasn't the point of the boob window so people would look at it?
but it also means more when like he likes her for who she is, not just that,
I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jimmy got points for that,
The Nosferatu trailer just dropped.
In which you're out of luck because Austin made it here, which means you can't do his intro.
Damn, I wanted to do his intro so badly. Damn, sad boy hours.
See Austin, which wants to replace you is what he's telling me.
No. I'm gonna thread this needle because audience, if you didn't know, I have to do 2 cosplays before San Diego Comic-Con in a month. So if you see me there, say hi. I guess you don't have to talk to me, man. I'll be like, okay.
What's so special about San Diego?
What about San Diego?
Where in the world is Carmen San Diego?
That's a good question. I don't know, but where's Waldo though? That's the real question.
I may not have gone to San Diego Comic-Con, but I went to Garden State Comic-Con over the weekend. And audience, guess who got the first appearance of Falcon in the comics?
Yeah, but you messed up the comic cover. Or you bought the bad comic cover. So.
It just has a little cut in the corner. All right, that's not
a little.
Hey, I will love it and appreciate it for what it is, Jake.
Unlike me, when I see that Amazing Spider-Man Pride cover this year in my comic shop, and I'm gonna want to kill myself.
In a video.
Hey, Jake.
That's not a little.
Hey, Jake. Hey, Jake. Do you knock points off the Liberty Bell because it has a crack on it? Huh?
The Liberty Bell doesn't look ugly without a crack. Most of the bell is still there.
But it has a crack, and we love it all the more, if not better.
I've seen cooler bells, man.
That's a crack, not a hole.
But yeah, honestly, audience, I can finally say I have the first appearance of Sam Wilson and I have the first appearance of Isaiah Bradley. So I did my part. Audience.
Is missing. Half of the kid is missing.
I have the first appearance of Julio Richter, and I have the fucking volume 5 of Alpha Flight trade paperback. So.
Good for you. Oh, hopefully we got Austin. Sorry, I forgot Austin was muted. Wait.
Disappointment.
Hold on. Okay, Austin, you there?
I was about to kill you. I hope you done it.
Okay, sorry. I was going on a tangent.
Jake, I was here from the moment you said I wasn't here. I heard the whole thing.
So yeah, you heard the part where I said I did my part for getting the first appearance of Sam Wilson and Isaiah.
You didn't though. For people who don't know, this is not a tear. This man is missing half of the shield. He's missing half of America.
I was gonna bring that up.
Hey, it's a crack of my Liberty Bell, all right? So.
Let me get a picture for you. You see Captain America's shield, but there's like a square cutout on the bottom right. It's all half of the shield is just.
Oh God, geez, post that on Twitter, why don't you guys?
Don't forget to tag me.
You heard him, Witch.
That's too much work. I have to go.
Okay, show me your first appearance of Sam Wilson, Austin. Come on.
Yeah, no, it's not that bad. Like the rest of the comments is good, so he just want to read it. Like he can't sell it, but you want to read it. Sure, it's a good copy. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, guess you had to walk a mile home because the bus was going to be almost an hour late. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. It's only going to take me 20 minutes to get to the other bus stop anyway, so I'm just going to walk. So I walked. I walk in 100-degree humid fucking weather just to get home.
Jake does that every day.
Yeah, it's true. I walk 5 hours a day. Don't test me. But listen, you know what isn't an hour late? This episode. Hey there, audience.
Yeah.
Oh hi. I didn't notice you.
Well,
let's start us off, guys. Well, welcome to Comic Phanatic Comic Phanatic Live. You're here with me, Cryptid Seeker 415. 2 weeks ago, I had red raspberries. Last week, I had blueberries, and this week I have white peaches. Red, white, and blue. Yay!
I personally don't approve.
Boo!
And this is Jake Tylenol, and I'm here to tell you, we're signing up Clark for the Federation of Planets. All right.
And I'm Witcher Jotunheim. Pronouns they, he.
Hey,
And another life I could have been.
You could have been witch, but you're not witch.
Nah, I'm just a guy. You'll find who I am later.
Yeah, you'll find out who he is. Anywhoosies, on to the not imposter. I'm Richter, also known as the Witch of Jotunheim. Pronouns they, he, and I am tired of this shit, but I gotta work on my 2 cosplays. So if you hear
I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought you were gonna introduce yourself as Austin. I thought that was gonna be the name of Austin.
No, why would I sleep with a wall?
No,
What does that bring me?
But
nothing against you, Austin. It's just one, we're in 2 different spaces, and 2, I'm not sleeping with a wall.
But, together we form the Fanatics, and today, and only today, we're talking about the news and a single review of the week.
Just one.
We're changing our schedule, everybody, because tomorrow we're doing our comic reviews. Today, we're just talking about the news, the media news, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the comic news.
Yep. So.
How could I forget? We have socials.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we do.
Which?
Yeah, we do. Hey. First of all, you can subscribe to the YouTube's channel because I said so, or else I will send Austin after you, and I don't think you want Austin after you. That's not a pretty sight. Just imagine that.
It's like It Follows. You've seen that movie. It's basically that.
But a giant wall.
Yeah, wall. No one else can see it but you.
Exactly. They're gonna think you're crazy. Anywhoosies. Yeah, and follow us on Twitter at ComicFanatic69. I just posted an update on there. Like, you can find all of our lovely videos on there. And also, if you're lucky, I might post something else on there. Who knows? You'll have to wait and see. If you wanted to follow me and see my cosplays and art, you can follow me on my Instagram and TikTok at witch_of_Jotunheim. Or if you want to see me shitpost or simp over hot fictional men, you can also follow me on the Witch at Witch of Jotun with an E instead of a U on Twitter. If you want to find Jake, I don't know, he's hanging out in Metropolis, I guess. He was supposed to get me some like really cool sweets, but he never got them for me, so I better see them on my desk.
Don't blame me. That crazy woman Carzowell ruined my city. Okay?
Yeah, BS. If you want to find Cryptid, he's chilling in the mountains. Yeah, he's chilling in the mountains with his bald eagle pet familiar.
Yeah.
If you want to find Austin, last time I checked, I sent him to Portland. You're gonna have to guess which Portland because I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, with that, guys, you guys want to get started?
Sure. I'm not doing anything.
Maybe.
Okay. Who wants to start us off?
No, you know what? The episode's over. We're canceling it. Let's get out of here. All right. Nice to meet you.
I'll start because I thought we talked about this before, but I guess it was confirmed he was voicing Charlie. Charlie Cox returns as Daredevil for Marvel's Your Friendly Neighborhood. Your Friendly Neighbor Spiderman. That's what it's called.
Neighborhood.
Obviously, I thought they changed the name again, bro.
The fact that you believe that could be possible tells a lot about the MCU at the moment.
After Agatha 19 name changes and this show already being changed from being canon to non-canon, I have no idea what they want to do with these shows anymore. But that's good on him. I don't know if he's voiced that before though, so it might be. You can't tell if it's going to be good or bad.
Wait. So is this still in the MCU or is this his own?
No, they changed it.
Okay.
But people don't know. Originally, it was going to be the 6 months before Tony picked up Spider-Man, and then they changed it to its own unique show. And they revealed this when they showed the cast showing Nico and all these other people. He was going to fight.
Probably for the best creativity wise, because like it felt like Peter's first real villain was Vulture. Like he's probably fought like some nobody D-listers, but it felt like his real villain was Vulture.
No, that's why I liked it though, because you could have done a lot of these D-listers that no one ever is going to talk about. We're never probably going to see again. So just for like a 1-season show that takes place during the 6 months, I thought that was going to be okay. But they want a long stream show because people don't know Marvel Spider-Man, that 2017 show, failed miserably for Disney. So basically, they're hoping this is the next big pickup for the Spider-Man stuff, and that's why they changed it.
That show, he was too It was too nerdy. It's like everyone in that show was like a genius.
They're the same problem that the game has right now, where it's like you can't have Miles and Peter both be the same type of genius. That kind of defeats the point.
Mm-hmm. It did.
But like in that show, anybody with spider powers was a genius.
It served its purpose. It lasted long enough to give us a whole season of Superior. So yeah,
that's all you wanted.
Yeah. It was the best thing that came out of that show. So
yeah. He's not lying. He's not lying. I didn't like the show, but that was the good part of the show. Seeing Doc Ock had to deal with Peter's emotional stuff was pretty decent.
I got bored watching it. I thought Spider-Man wasn't funny, which like so Spider-Man doesn't always have to be funny, but I'm sorry, Josh Keaton just set a high bar for me. It's like, man, just tell good jokes. Make good jokes.
It be like that sometimes.
Yeah. But Peter wasn't interesting because everyone was Peter's level, so it kind of felt like I don't know. I guess he's smart.
Yeah.
But
like if you make Miles the smartest Peter, and he's already strong, just have Miles be Spider-Man at that point. He doesn't need to be here.
There was also it didn't just stop with Miles. They added 2 other Spider people.
Yeah, Gwen Stacy was smart as him. They had Spider-Woman 2. I can't pronounce her name. Corazon.
Anya Corazon.
Yeah. Arachne, right?
Arachne, yeah. Oh, and let's not forget they had Miss Marvel in there as a recurring character. Yeah.
Also, don't even get me started on Marvel Rising. I heard that Devin Grayson wrote the fucking comic, and I wanted to die.
I don't know who that is.
Marvel Rising was a good idea on paper when I first heard it.
Yeah, a very specific character.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go look up Devin Grayson. All the he's done, and then you come back to me on that.
Marvel Rising.
I will next episode.
It was okay for what it was, but you could tell Marvel thought it was going to be bigger than it was. You know, they set up. They set up what looked like the show.
I like Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl is the best part I saw of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a voice by that woman who was supposed to play Squirrel Girl live action, the AT&T lady at first.
Yeah.
She was gonna be Squirrel Girl, the New Warriors TV show. They got canceled, and I was like, nah, I kind of want to see this now. That would have been really good based on this.
Well, I don't think animation needs to be like JJK for every cartoon. I think that style was way too bland to like advertise itself.
No, it was.
Yeah,
Marvel Rising had the same art style as Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't like to say it often, but it felt cheap. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like there was any love poured into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like, if you're trying to promote a cast of characters that people aren't traditionally watching or reading, you want to show them at their best, which is why that Super Sons movie DC did was a terrible idea to do it in that art style because it was just not
But, people did not want to check it out.
Yeah.
But back to this, that's also why I worry about this, Jake.
Yeah.
This show, because if you look at the art style and the designs here, because we saw a little bit of motion in like one of the trailers.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, if this is the style you're going with, I don't know if that's going to be a good thing for Spider-Man. We need to see this guy swing around. Let's see how this really works.
Coming back off of X-Men 97 too, which was like a movie. It was like I was watching, like every episode was like the animated movie for X-Men. That's what
it looked great. It basically improved. It basically took the original and improved on it in practically every way. So
I'm not gonna lie to you. There's sometimes watching X-Men 97. I was like,
I just hate the colors.
No, I thought the colors were fine.
No. I thought the colors themselves and how they were used were fine. I just didn't like the color choices. Like Magneto's colors for his powers are usually one thing, and it'll fully change for the show. And then some people had different powers, and they used the same color for no reason. I was like, what are you doing here?
That's fair. But
that's me every time like they change the colored power, like the power of like people's magic. Wanda from Evolution, I'm looking at you. Don't think I don't know. Why is your blue?
Exactly. Like, there are traditional colors that go with this, and you could have did well. Magneto shouldn't be using Magneto doing like 8 different colors to do one move.
Yeah, but X-Men 97's cinematography and animation and art style was so good. Like sometimes I felt like I was like in a theater watching it. It was so good. And so like to go from that to a lesser style, I think is a bad look for Marvel animations. That studio, that's the project people behind it. That said, I haven't seen it personally, so maybe it's fine. I haven't seen it myself, so I don't know. But hopefully,
we haven't seen like it was only like 5 seconds. It was just get a turn in his head, and like
damn well when this show comes out and Daredevil pulls up, we know damn well that we're gonna compare like all of his moves to that, like in this show to all like the one scene that he had in X-Men 97. I know damn well we're gonna do that.
I'll compare it. I'm gonna compare it to Echo because I just want
something. Question, guys: how do you guys feel about Marvel just wanting to put Daredevil in everything now? Like,
as long as it's like based in New York, I think it's okay. Like him in the Spider-Man show makes sense. Him in X-Men 97 makes sense because he was in Spider-Man, who is in that show.
Yeah.
But like if we do like a Captain America show or something like that, Daredevil just have to show up and he's not just being a lawyer. I think that's too I'll leave Daredevil the character, but I'm fine like as long as there's a real purpose and not just being, oh, here's Daredevil being a hero. I think that's okay.
Ever since
this isn't the MCU version, I don't see a value of having Charlie Cox here. Because
it's fan credit. It's fan credit.
Yeah, well, to be fair, when he originally signed on, it was still supposed to be MCU. From my understanding.
My problem with it is like, well, I mean, if it was originally what was going to happen, it is what it is. But my thing is like, I like experimenting with new actors, and if we have a franchise like Marvel, which does multiple universes at the same time anyway, play around a bit, try different actors for different shows and stuff like that.
No, Jay, we have to keep the mentality that only one person can play one character ever.
Like
you can't be better than that.
Sure.
That due to because of like Sony's BS, like in Marvel's What If, they couldn't have Tom Holland voice himself in the show, like in that Marvel Zombies episode. But the actor they got for Spider-Man was pretty good. It sounded pretty similar.
Yeah.
I was very surprised.
Yeah, I wonder if that's because of the contract of Tom Holland, because he's like more high.
It was
because he's more high profile, celebrity wise. He's in the theaters in the big screen.
No, it's because Sony has a specific deal that he can only do blank S appearances and blank movies, and they didn't want to adjust it for the show. The show was not in that deal.
To be fair, based off the checks, it sounds like he gets. I don't think Marvel was arguing. I think they were just like, yeah, you know what, we don't want to pay him more.
Man.
You guys heard the Tom Hollander story, right? Where he got a Tom Holland's check by accident, and he saw it, and he the amount of money that was on that check was biblical, essentially. He had to give it back. But I was like, man, he's a better man than me. All right.
Then half of that check goes to taxes. Half of that goes to his a portion of that goes to the manager. Then overhead, and
that's a lot of money. Though. At some point, he just keeps a lot of it, though. He still gets a lot for himself. To be Spider-Man, and then you have to be like, and then if he was in a TV show, you'd have to pay him again. It'll be like, nah.
You have to pay him residuals too.
Yes, so I get them being like, you know what, so you can have this one. I don't really.
And I ain't talking about if he gets if he has a thing in his cards for like toy deals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For the different MCU toys that he's in.
You notice in the and What If they got the Iron Man actor from Avengers Assemble.
They did. I remember that because I recognized that voice actor because I did watch that cartoon. That was like technically my first Avengers cartoon, and before all you comic assholes come at me, I didn't get into Marvel and comic books until 2017, so you got to be patient with me.
That's not. It was a terrible show.
That was my
Overall,
first.
they tried.
Good. I just said it was my first.
The Hyperion episode
Yeah.
is still the peak of that show for me.
Yeah, I was at the bad entry point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but keep in mind, it was like the only thing on TV, and I was low-key kind of desperate for content because I didn't know about Alpha Flight yet.
By the way, last thing on Iron Man, real quick. That actor from that show, he's in every Iron Man project that's not like live action.
Wow.
I've heard his voice in.
Yeah, was he? I think he was in. I think he was Iron Man for the 2 games as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
he is Iron Man, not live action.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets work. But
and watch, no one's going to talk about that. By the way, if you ever get to the place, they're not going to talk about that.
Sure.
Oh.
But yeah, Charlie Cox, hopefully he can voice act. So.
Yeah, that really is. I don't want a Natara situation. If y'all play We'll Come at 1 and have Megan Fox come in and voice Natara, and she cannot voice act to save her life. Or to save my life.
It could have been worse. But it was not good. I saw clips. I was like, Megan, I love you. I loved you in Jennifer's Body, but ain't it?
Yeah, you could act, but you want that to take a little bit more.
Can I go on this before we move on? What's funny about that is that most do ADR, which is basically where you basically voice act over what you. So I don't know why a lot of these freaking actors, like screen actors, can't voice act.
They can't emote outside of the thing. It's weird.
You can, so when you're in a voice acting booth, there is emoting. Like, you look behind the scenes, like, you see people when they scream, like, they actually, like, scream into it and everything. But it's not the same as, like, connecting to another actor in person or something like that. You know what I mean? That's what I kind of feel like it is. You're also not moving as much because you have to be at the booth as well. I imagine that also might be difficult for people to adjust to as well. It's just the way you project yourself is different.
And also the chemistry you have to have with your voice actors too. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Mark Hamill doesn't want to do Joker anymore, because when he did his recordings, he did it with Kevin Conroy right next to him, both of them building off of each other's lines,
And all those screen actors who can voice act, I applaud you. And they don't sound like how they usually sound. I'm looking at you, Chris Pratt. Fuck you.
Chris Pratt did okay. I'm actually kind of proud of him after I heard it. Because if you watch the first Mario trailer and then watch the movie, they did change some lines up. So they heard the feedback and fixed some lines.
I was the one being reasonable when everybody was hating on the Mario voice and like, hey, we were
justified because they changed the line. They changed it. I called it out in our review. They changed the line.
Everybody wanted the exact voice from the game, and I was like, dude, you're gonna get annoyed by that voice after 5 minutes,
Cryptid. I was also defending him too. It was me and you. All right, don't leave me out of this.
Keep in mind, I watched the trailer for the Garfield movie. I did not like his voice.
Yeah,
well,
I agree.
Garfield ruined Bill Murray too, so it's just a hard character to find success with, apparently.
Was Bill Murray a bad voice for Garfield?
No, the movie itself was just bad in general.
Garfield's voice are pretty spot on. I think that's probably the voice people think of. They think of Garfield.
I mean, guys, it got so bad that when it came to Zombieland, where Bill Murray made his cameo and he was playing himself dying. Hey, he was asked, do you have any regrets? Garfield, maybe? Yeah. Even he recognizes how travesty that was. But anyway, any follow-ups on this before we move on, guys?
No.
Good luck, man.
Working on the skirt for my cosplay.
Good luck to you too.
Gotcha. Speaking of good luck, who wants to do the next one?
I guess I'll go again. Fans want Ryan Gosling cast as Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. That would not be bad. I would not be mad at that. That would be pretty good.
Yeah,
Danny Ketch?
Danny Ketch is the second Ghost Rider. He's also the one with the outfit that most people think of when they think Ghost Rider.
Yep. If I had to compare Johnny with Danny, I would say Danny is like more heavy metal. To Johnny.
The chains and stuff came from Danny.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm looking up pictures of this guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
The idea of him using the chain as a weapon, the specific bicycle usually comes from Danny Ketch when he gets adapted.
Gotcha. Wow.
Noted.
He does have a
Lie.
Yeah, he does have a bit of a pop culture following. I mean, like it amazes me. Like I remember going to like this one geek store, right? Well, not geek store. It was a DVD store at the time. Like we just talking to one of the managers there, and he was like saying, "Hey, who's your favorite Ghost Rider?" Well, mine's was Robbie Reyes, but then he's like, "Oh, I like Danny Ketch." Oh wow,
It's
that
because
was a good
Danny's
one.
he's the Ghost Rider 90s, and it comes with their most popular before the fall off.
I
Yeah.
feel
Like he was a big deal.
every single Ghost Rider has its fans. You know, every single Ghost Rider has its fans.
I guess,
Yeah.
yeah.
People only want him as Daddy because they want Nicolas Cage back as Johnny
Yeah.
Blaze. I'm like, he was not a great Johnny Blaze. Y'all gotta stop acting like this dude's the end all be all. This is not a
Just-
Blaze situation. This
just-
guy was barely Johnny Blaze.
Just because he. Go ahead.
My mom made us do like a Nicolas Cage movie-thon one time, and she
Uh-huh.
basically made us watch like really bad Nicolas Cage movies. And one of those movies was the second Ghost Rider movie. Not even the first one, the second one.
The one where he was literally pissing fire, audience. Like, yeah, just
You know what's
because
funny, Witch?
Because Nicolas Cage was Ghost Rider during your upcoming years, audience, doesn't mean he was a good one. All right. Like,
I made Jake and them also do a Nicolas Cage marathon, but instead I had them watch Mom and Dad, and we watched something called The Color Out of His Face, and they like both of those scenes because Nick Cage had the freak out. That's hilarious in both those films.
Look up Nicolas Cage freaks out in a car. Okay, that was hilarious.
I swear, to you guys, and I'm gonna say this on stream right now. If for a movie night, because we have weekly movie night, if you guys make me watch Mandy, I will leave the call.
No, I'm not.
Traumatized me.
Well,
I won't do it to you. I was gonna do it to Jake and though because I haven't seen it, so I wanted to watch it with Jake and Tony.
Dude, it has my weird fear in it, and also I did not want to see small male appendages. Okay, I did not want to see that.
Oh, you can't watch The Boys then. The Boys went out their way to show us that like an episode ago.
No, and so did Mandy. So did Mandy. I saw that full on.
Okay.
I want to see that.
Sorry,
but got into that man.
Not a problem. Not a problem. But going back to the topic at hand, like if Ryan Gosling is going to be Ghost Rider, it's a win-win for everybody if he becomes Danny Ketch. Because if he's cast as Johnny, everybody's just going to automatically want to compare him with Nicolas Cage. In this scenario, he has a fresh start to do what he wants with Danny. I don't think he's ever had like a full-on MCU movie or media appearance before.
No.
So yeah. This is good, and plus, Ryan Gosling. I mean, come on, he's at the height of his career right now. So
what the hell are you talking about?
Obviously, I think he'll do well. I think because I think the story the first one took like with Blackheart and stuff. I'm pretty sure that was a Danny Ketch story as well.
Wow, really?
Okay, Nick Cage took a lot. They took a lot from Danny Ketch and made it like a typical Ghost Rider thing.
Okay, so it wasn't enough for Nicolas Cage to take Luke Cage's last name. He also has to take Danny Ketch's stuff for his Ghost Rider. Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I heard a funny Nick Cage story. This man went to sleep one day and woke up with a homeless guy in his house, just eating his food. Because apparently, because he always filming, he doesn't go home that often. So a guy was just living in his house while he wasn't there.
Wow.
Oh.
The guy was just sleeping in the guest room. So the guy slept in the guest room that night when this case was there, and he went to go eat breakfast.
I mean, at least he
both of them scared each other.
At least he slept in the guest room.
You see,
apparently he got the house clean and everything. Like he was a very courteous guest. He was just
that could have been that could have been way worse if you think about it.
Yeah, he didn't try to kill him or anything like that. It was just like I woke up to this and I didn't do.
The audience, this is why you need timers in your households if you're going away for a long time in a trip, right? Just to show that the lights are on during nights, because otherwise, if the lights are off, hey, people will think it's vacant, So
yeah.
Or just have someone stay there for you, because that's what I've done.
There you go.
Kids pay for what I said. That's why he's on. That'd be funny.
Gotcha. But yeah, I guess we're all positive about this news. So,
I mean, I didn't know who he was, so I don't know you want.
gotcha.
And not a lot of room for error. Like, it's more like if he's a bad Danny Ketch because the writing was bad. That's the way I'm gonna look at it. To be honest.
The one moment I remember most of Danny Ketch, right, was actually during the Secret Wars event where he and the other Ghost Riders were racing, and Robbie being the new guy, he was a new up and coming hotshot. He was winning all the races. Yeah. He was beating all the quote unquote old timer Ghost Riders. And while Robbie was getting his award, like Danny's like going up screaming, "Hey, you think you're so big, Robbie? You're just the flavor of the month. We all know it. We were all where you were at not too long ago." I'm like, damn.
And keep in mind, most freaking Ghost Riders are also not the Sorcerer Supreme. There's only like one, and she's awesome. Just remember.
Yeah. Although every Ghost Rider right now, except for Johnny and Danny, are in hell right now, and Robbie.
Oh, speaking of Ryan Gosling, if you want to see Jason Momoa's best performance, go watch The Fall Guys.
I'll do that.
Gotcha. But all right, then. I think we spoke enough about this. Let's move on to the next. Which do you want to do this one?
Yeah, sure. I'll do this one.
All of it, which was like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm kind of low-key distracted by my cosplay stuff. But anyways, early version of Blade was set in the 1920s and featured Mia Goth as his daughter. I was actually very curious. Elaborate, please.
Mia Goth is Lilith.
No, that's the actress's name.
That's her name.
No, Mia Goth was going to play Lilith, the villain of the movie.
Oh, okay, the villain of the movie.
Yeah, I would have had a couple questions if what I said was true.
No.
Yeah, I'm about to say there's no way to reverse whitewashing Blade's daughter. Okay, there's no way they're gonna do that.
Yes.
I don't know if Mia Goth is white, but she ain't black. I can say that much.
Mia
Goth
is white. Mia Goth is white. Have you seen Pearl or X?
I seen the movie. I just didn't know she could have been a percentage of black. I don't know.
Gotcha.
The point is, she wasn't full black, and people were not gonna let it slide. But yeah, she was gonna play Lilith, who's gonna be taking place of I believe she's gonna be like the wife of Mephisto or something in this timeline.
Also, other in the Midnight Suns video game.
Yeah, it seems like they wanted to set up more of a Midnight Suns video game type story, with the daughter taking place of the Huntress in a way.
By the way, if you guys like real-time strategy games and XCOM a little bit, go play Midnight Suns, the game. It's the modern day Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, it's a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the plan was she wants the daughter's blood to make, if I remember correctly, the same thing that every other vampire wants. Vampires that walk in the daytime. Why she doesn't want Blade's blood? I guess he's too hard to fight. I guess they're going to use his daughter.
Yep.
But that was the plan, and I believe the plan they're going to turn Blade's daughter more into like the Huntress. So the Huntress from the game, if you don't know, is Lilith's daughter or son, but it's supposed to be a girl who stops Lilith. She gets sealed away. She gets woken back up in modern time, and apparently that was going to happen to Blade's daughter.
Yes. She's also a fan of book clubs with Blade and Captain America.
Yeah. That's actually a really good storyline in the game. Like, the game was actually pretty well.
I wonder if Blade went up to Captain America to get tips on how to kill Nazi vampires. Come on.
In the game, you could do these side activities to bond with the Marvel heroes, and one of the random ones they do is like Blade starts a book club, and he gets like some
to get with Carol.
Yeah, he gets Carol, and he wants to ask Carol out too. So that's a great way to talk to her. So it's like Carol, Captain America. I forgot who else was in that book club. It was
Wolverine.
Wolverine was in it, and they get, and I think no, it wasn't him. And they talk about books. They each get to pick a book, and everybody has to read it. So every time you do a mission, you come back and you have to read a book on everyone's recommendations. And they have these honest to God discussions about these books, man. You think these books are real? The way they talk about it.
It's funny though, because you see Blade trying to simp in the situation where like Carol's book, he's trying his best to act like he understands. and read it up and down. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about. It's kind of hilarious. But when it comes to Captain America's book, he's trying to get it out of the way. Hell, like his story is pretty great, man.
Yeah, Captain America was funny in that storyline too. But.
He asked Steve because Steve heard him when he asked Carol, and he didn't want to tell Steve no. It looked bad for the Captain America. So he became an actual book club.
Hey, question, Blade. Have you ever killed a Nazi vampire?
I think I might have killed a few in my day.
Nah. Come on, tell me. Did you kill a Nazi vampire? Come on.
I'm sure so some random vampire he done killed by accident with a Nazi at some point.
That would, for some reason that would have sounded redundant to me. However, I did watch Hellsing Ultimate. I have watched and engaged in Hellsing, and there are in fact Nazi vampires.
Did you watch the Abridged now?
I did. That's the one I strictly watch nowadays.
No, that's fair. I did too.
I watched the original, and then I watched the Abridged, and I thought the Abridged was so funny, and I still quote it to this day. Recommend. Watch the Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. You will love it. And go play Hades 2, because I said so.
Good for you.
But we talked about this a little bit last week. I don't think anyone here sees the vision that Marvel thought they were going to cook up with this. Especially because they already set up Blade and the original owner of the Ebony Blade, the Black Knight, apparently having some old story together. So instead of telling that story, you randomly want to do something with his brand new daughter and Lilith, who he hasn't Blade probably hasn't fought or talked to in like 30 years in comics.
Man.
It is what it is.
I can imagine what Marvel had to have offered the actor who played Blade. What was his name?
Marshall Ali.
Ali. Yeah. Because remember, he was playing Cottonmouth in Luke Cage, right? He already played a character there, and apparently the only reason his character got killed off is because the actor was like, "Yeah, I only want to be here for half the season." So yeah, that's what happened. So imagine how much money Marvel had to have offered this guy to play Blade for the long run. You know.
Not even that. Like it's been 3 to 4 years now. They haven't filmed anything, and he still hasn't left the project. Most people have left by now.
Wow.
This project does not seem serious.
He saw the Marvel checks. He's like, it's too worth it, bro. I can't.
I saw that.
I feel worse though. If I waited all these years to film this movie and it comes out trash, I could have made like 7 more films by now.
That's true.
Yeah.
This guy is an award-winning actor. He could have had way more stuff to do. He's put on hold for this movie that's probably going to be terrible.
This
based on history.
Because I'm gonna stay positive about this movie, but if I go see this movie and it is trash, I'm gonna be very pissed off.
Look, from my point of view, as long as it's better than the Blade TV show, who I think I'm the only person here that's seen, I'll be okay.
Okay.
That's the Blade TV show was a rapper on it.
The bar is in hell.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you have to be better than Blade 3, the TV show, and people will be okay.
Gotcha. Well, audience, this won't be the last time we're going to be talking about Blade for tonight, so brace yourselves.
No, we're not talking about Blood Hunt. Go read it.
All right. Anyway, speaking of stuff to talk about, Jake, you want to do the next one?
Yes. Superman begins his descent into darkness as Kara Zor-El begins to see the light in My Adventures with Superman, Season 2, Episode 6. So last week, I had some problems with this show, and I have the unfortunate opportunity to say that this was such a turnaround. I love this episode.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, boys.
I thought it was going to go one way because of the trailers, and it went a completely different direction. Because it was obvious that because obviously Kara Zor-El's going to turn and be a good guy at some point, but I did like the build up to it. Basically, what we find out is so Kara explains the origins of the Kryptonian Empire, and basically she talks about them like they're Viltrumites from Invincible. If you've seen the show, you go to another planet, they don't agree to be ruled under you, so you conquer it. Then they're indoctrinated into the Empire, and they become better people. And Clark basically asks Kara, and Clark is still telling Kara, I'm not doing that to Earth. And and Kara's like, Clark, you don't know what you're missing out on. If you really love Earth, you would love to do this. And Clark's like, all right, well, how about you just show me one of these planets, Kara? just show me show me one of the, and maybe I'll consider it. Let's see what you're cooking. So they go to Thanagar, basically. For people who know, that's the Hawk People's planet. And they go there, and the place is destroyed. And Clark's like, Kara, what the fuck were you talking about? This place is terrible. And Kara's like, no, she's like, no, this place wasn't like that when I first showed up. I don't know what's going on, basically. Comes to find out that by the end of the episode, first off, we get a reveal, even though you pretty much saw this coming. Her father, as she believes it, is Brainiac, basically, who just convinced her that that's her father. But then Brainiac, what Brainiac did to her was he brainwashed her in such a way that he's kind of filtering in truths and half truths, basically. So she can only see things from his perspective. What she finds out at the very end of the episode is that she's basically come to these planets and like killed everyone herself. Like she's incinerated like entire families. They made paintings showing how much of an awful person she was, basically. And the way she comes to this conclusion, the way she reacts to it, it's like it's so horrible. Like it's such a horrible thing.
I mean,
and
yeah,
I like the
terrified too if I was her.
Yeah, and Brainiac's also such a great villain in this as well. He actually like really gaslights Kara hard. There's like a moment where Kara's starting to question some things, and Brainiac's like, "Oh, I thought you were a part of the Kryptonian Empire. I thought you were trying to save the galaxy. What, you want to forsake your dead ancestors for this one guy? Like, like don't you have any respect for your people or whatever?" She's like, "Well, yeah, I guess I do. I don't know." But like I liked all that stuff with Kara this episode. They also had some really cool moments with Kara and Clark too. On the way to Brainiac, they make a pit stop to Thanagar, but the place is covered in like asteroids, basically. And so they have to clear the way because the ship can't get through. And so Kara decides to mess with Clark. First explains to him, Clark, you don't need a helmet, you can breathe in space. Stop thinking you can't breathe. And then they also play a game of like dodgeball with the asteroids, basically. Wow. And it's such like a wholesome moment, but it's not like it's not like a overly cheesy Flanderized. It's just they're having fun, which is great because you see a flashback of Clark learning to play catch with his father, and he can't quite do it because he's super strong. But with Kara, he doesn't have to hold back, so they can actually just have fun like normal people, basically normal gods, basically. There's even a cool moment where Clark realizes that Kara has a crush on Jimmy, and Clark kind of teases her about it, and they have like a cool sibling banter about it as well. And Clark himself continues to be like a good character in this show. I think in every episode, I've never had a problem with his character specifically. The actor does a good job conveying him. The way he approaches situations, like he's optimistic and like naive to a fault. But he's very stern in his beliefs at the end of the day as well. And he is open to new things. Like the fact that he was even open to hearing Kara out and even saying like, well, if this civilization, Kryptonian civilization is as good as you say, I might consider it. I thought that was really interesting about his character, that he was even willing to entertain the idea. But yeah, I liked a lot of that stuff in the episode. I think all around, it's my favorite episode of this season. Next episode, we're getting Supergirl teaming up with Lois and Jimmy to save Clark. Okay. Yeah, because Clark is in the clutches of Brainiac, who is testing out his powers, basically. And Clark gets to fight a Thanagarian and a Green Lantern, actually, in this episode.
Which Green Lantern?
I don't know his name, but but he has this weird, like, he could do like karate with the Green Lantern ring, stuff like that. What I found interesting, though, what I found horrible is that what Brainiac does is he takes the consciousness of these people, because these aren't the real species. So he takes the consciousness of them and puts them in a robot and forces them to fight. And when Clark is fighting the Green Lantern, you can see him crying because he can't control his body at all. He's just being forced to do it. And just for people who have any doubts, he's not using a real Green Lantern ring. It's just an approximation of one, essentially. But yeah, you just see how horrible Brainiac is as a person, and how like he's just like downright evil, but like in a cold, creepy way. But he talks like the robotic Brainiac from the older shows, like from the animated series, basically. So it's kind of like he's kind of uncanny in a way. But like I said, the show really did a turnaround on me. This is the second time it's done that, where I wasn't sure if I was going to like the season, but it did a whole turnaround on me in the next episode. So hopefully we can keep it up. But yeah, I do. I really like this episode, and I really want the show to keep up its momentum right now. But we'll see. So yeah.
Okay. How many episodes are left anyway?
I'm not sure if it's like the last one. I think we're nearing the end game. I'm not sure how this is gonna wrap up because we have a plot with Amanda Waller back on Earth, but also Brainiac is here as well, and he's already interested in Earth. So like, I don't know exactly if these plots are gonna converge or if we're saving one for next season. I did see the promo for the next episode, and it's kind of dumb. Amanda Waller essentially this is how it's pitched, right? Amanda Waller is like, Superman is dangerous. We're implementing martial law in Metropolis. I'm like, what? What do you like? What does that have to do with anything? But we'll see. Like I said, it's a couple episodes left, and they do some really good hits in the season, so we'll see. But yeah. Good episode. I have interest in Superman, everybody. So,
cool. All right then. With that, I guess we're done with the media news, audience. Now we're going on to the comic news of the week. Go ahead, Austin. Go ahead.
Zeb Wells' run is coming to an end. I don't really believe
it. Really? Okay. Why?
People said he got.
Because I think he still got issues coming out up until like November. I don't really trust when he's supposed to end it.
No, I heard September, but people said he got fired. I don't think he got fired, unless if it ends abruptly. I think he just ran.
Covers for issues that came out in November came out, and his name was still on the cover.
I don't know. Not ready to see that Pride cover for this book. I'm going to go on that whole rant when
and so for Austin's standpoint, it's too good to be true, audience. Well, I don't know. Like everybody else seems to be celebrating this news. Yay! Audience, I tried giving Zeb Wells the benefit of the doubt in a lot of his skits, but damn, even he disappointed me when I tried giving his run a try.
He's a low.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like the case with Dan Sod, where I know he was a controversial writer in Spider-Man. There were definitely a lot of bumps in the road with his runs, but he had a few gold nuggets in his era of Spider-Man. With Zeb Wells, I just can't think of what benefit he added to the mythos. Really,
he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, he just planted a turd in the name of Paul. Like.
Okay, who the fuck really gives a shit about Paul as well?
I know exactly. I mean, for God's sake, anybody who's reading that Jackpot in a Black Cat book, key role in Paul's role in that book is that if Mary Jane doesn't do what the bad guy says, Paul will get killed. Like,
anyway, can I rant about?
How's that a threat? Like, Austin, you're surprisingly silent during this, man. What happened?
He doesn't.
I think he's chills. My bad. Anyway, if he's really leaving, that's good. Because any high run, any big moment he had, he kind of screwed over in the end. Yeah. Like people were excited when he turned Spider-Man evil. Because after the Batman Who Laughs and all that stuff, people were excited to see what you could do with Spider-Man in that type of situation. And after like one issue, and it was over.
I mean, if there was like anybody who's justified in wanting to cut loose and pay a lot of people back, it would be Spider-Man, and of course, Paul is in that list.
Yeah. It even gives him a new perspective with the Green Goblin, because now he understands what a Goblin hears and goes through every time he has it, even when Norman isn't at fault, in this situation.
I love how
and he just glances over that.
Oh, Paul has become such a memed character that, like, even if you don't know Marvel Comics that much, you know the name Paul because I hear his name everywhere I go.
Jake, Black Cat is dating a gender-bent version of Paul right now. Like,
no, it's like Paul. Paul is so infamous. He could be on the Sinister Six. I ain't gonna lie to you. But,
dude, if Mary Jane and Peter ever do get back together and they have a child, what do you think the audience is going to react if Mary Jane's like?
I don't think they're getting back together.
Can we call her?
I don't think they should get together at this point. To be honest,
can we call our son Paul?
Yeah. I don't think they can. I don't think they will let them because Ultimate Spider-Man is out, and apparently those sales are strong. So why would they?
Yeah.
That's funny. I know they're not gonna come back together in 616, but all of like the merchandise that Marvel puts out, where it requires like iconic couples, they always put these two, and they rarely do Storm and Reed Richards or literally anyone else. They have to put. Like, I have the Marvel Tarot deck that I got, like, a long time ago. Like, it came out. And the Lover's card, it's those two. Really?
Yep.
No.
You see, this is the ultimate gambit Marvel has with when it comes to Peter and MJ, right? To all those fans who are like, we want Peter and Mary Jane to be together. Marvel would do something like Ultimate Spider-Man and say, yeah, okay, we have Peter and MJ together. Go read that book. And if that book doesn't make the numbers, though, that's their way of saying, look, we gave you audience what you wanted, and it didn't sell, so yeah.
But even if it sells, it's like, well, yeah. So it's like, there's no way
they did the same thing with Renew Your Vows. Renew Your Vows were selling because Peter and MJ were together. Yeah. And they had a kid, and people loved to see them raise a kid. And they decided to pull a John Kent and just age the kid up randomly, and people got mad. And they're like, "Oh, you don't want the book now, so you don't want to keep two people together."
Yep. Oh, and for the record, audience, like there was a point in this run where hey, Peter was trying to get things back on with Felicia, and hey, I was supporting that. Like let's give this relationship a chance again, audience. And Zeb Wells just screws that relationship up.
He has her break up with Peter because Peter no longer fights to make her change because it's been 60 goddamn years and he learned to accept Felicia for who she is.
Keep in mind, it is stated in record that Zeb Wells does not like Peter Parker.
Right now, Marvel is in like a Captain America situation where they're just hiring people who apparently don't like Spider-Man to write it. Like
I just don't understand why would they hire this after the Spencer run did so much for fans, retconning big stories that people hated, so it made sense. Redeeming a lot of characters, fixing a lot of characters, and then you follow up with a guy who spits in the face of everything that guy set up.
The only thing, like, because to get MJ and Peter back, like, organically, it would be so much effort. Because this is, like, they're so far apart from, like, where the last run was. She had a boyfriend and 2 kids. The kids might be dead, but that relationship still exists. Like, you don't just go back to
Jake,
dude,
my problem is they could have did it. Giving MJ powers and finally having her understand the responsibility that Peter always had to go through to save her and all the other stuff could have brought a new idea to this relationship. Because now she's also in the same position where it's like, oh, remember I used to get kidnapped. Peter had to do all this stuff to save me, and now I got to do the same thing for Paul. Yeah. Or like even her hating Peter for leaving her for 3 years, even though it was only 10 seconds with Peter. You see how stressful these moments are. She finally had that understanding. You still could build a relationship off of that. I just don't think they should. If they don't plan to put these people together, they need to stop teasing and just get her out the book.
Did she hate him for that, or did she just like look the eyes? I thought that's what it was more.
It goes back and forth depending on what book she's talking about. Because she said so kind of one of the Black Cat books that she was mad at Peter about it. And then she tells Peter kind of fuck off at one point. But Zeb Wells seems to just not like Zeb Wells don't like Peter. So even like MJ, Mary, even Black Cat's like, oh, I'm way happier than I ever was with Peter in this new book. Dating some random girl.
A random girl.
Like, I don't know.
She's like, this is. Mary Jane's like looking in the background as Felicia's kissing her new girlfriend. Mary Jane's like, okay, this is what true love looks like. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. What? You barely known this chick for like a month. Like,
It's like Peter was spending most of his life trying to make you a better person, and then you just
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah, like even the moments we had of Peter and Black Cat in Zeb Wells' run, it was just Peter screwing it up, or MJ constantly having to butt in the relationship. You know.
See, that's why I don't understand.
Yeah.
If you don't like Peter, make him better. Like, what do
Yeah.
you not like about him? Fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't,
Like,
Real.
I don't
like
understand.
there came a literal point where Peter and Felicia were like, okay, we really need to take a small little break, like get away from the city, just relax at this one nice ski resort. It's just gonna be the two of us. And coincidentally, Paul and Mary Jane had the same idea of going to that exact same ski resort at the exact same time. Peter and Felicia were going.
Can I bring up something from another Zeb Wells book that I actually really liked and that I wish they actually did in this book?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so in Hellions, in the Hellfire Gala issue, so Kyle Gibney, aka Wildchild, he and a couple of the other members, they sneak into the Hellfire Gala because they weren't invited. While, like, say Havoc, Psylocke, and Mr. Sinister were. I don't know why Mr. Sinister is here, but he's here. But besides the point. So I need to give you that quick setting the scene. So back in like the early 2000s, there was a book called Weapon X that Wildchild was a part of, right?
Yeah.
So when in the Hellfire Gala issue of Hellions, when Kyle goes in and he sees Aurora, right? Because they used to date in the comics, right? Not just in Alpha Flight, but like also like in other books as well.
Yeah.
So he asks her for a dance, probably not meaning anything or anything, and she declines, basically saying, "Oh yeah, like when we were together, it was just not a good time for either of us. I'm sorry." And
Whoa.
he doesn't take it the best, because if you know anything about Wildchild's character, it makes a lot of sense why he wouldn't take it well. But then he's like, "I'm gonna go fight her boyfriend now," who is Akihiro, by the way, who's Wolverine's kid. And it doesn't end well. Basically, he's upset. And he's like, "My den will never be fulfilled," and stuff like that. And I kind of like that because it calls back to a book that like no one liked, first of all. But also it just shows like how much these characters have grown. Even if Wildchild didn't take it well, you know that he has definitely changed throughout the years. And I wish they would have done something similar to that in this book. You know what I mean?
The fact that you're mentioning that whole event that Wildchild went through, combining that with what Zeb Wells did to Peter, all I'm thinking of is Zeb Wells. Did something happen to you with somebody in real life that you're just projecting into your comics at this point? Like, if you're doing that in multiple books?
I was gonna say earlier that my thing is like, if you don't like a character, like I had this thing like, I don't like the way Batman is portrayed, but if I wrote Batman, I wouldn't shit on him. You know what I mean? Like I would address the things that like I don't like. Like maybe I would like nerf Batman a bit, just because I don't like Batman just being able to do all this stuff, but he can't clean the streets of Gotham. But give him dignity. You know what I mean? Like he's still a super, not just a superhero. He's like the most popular one. So like, give him dignity. Same with Spider-Man. Like if you don't like Peter, what don't you like about Peter? Make him a better character. I read in the letters page for one of the issues. I couldn't tell you which one. Like a YouTuber was showing it. That like someone brought up that like I don't mind Peter getting his teeth kicked in by life. But usually that's counterbalanced by, the silver lining, there's still a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think Zeb Wells' response was like, well, I think we've been doing that pretty fine, basically.
Oh, what was the silver lining?
He's like, well, listen, you just got to keep hanging in there, we'll get there. Like, that was basically the gist of his complaint. It was like he just didn't see the problem.
Yeah, he wants to justify saying all this bad stuff happened, so something good happened in the end. But even if Peter and MJ gets together by the end of this, like, the taste is going to be so sour in people's mouth. They probably won't even want it. So like and that'll be like the biggest thing you can do for fans of the Spider-Man.
Like I just wish that Zeb Wells wrote all these Spider-Man characters like he wrote the characters in Hellions. But you know what I mean.
But I guess the only difference with Hellions is that he's writing the characters he likes, and in Spider-Man, well, it shows in the work on how he feels about Spider-Man.
Keep in mind, Hellions was specifically a book for all the characters who are more like I wouldn't say like morally gray, but they have like more of like a dark side to them, you know? Like if you know any characters, yeah. I might not know everything about every single member, but like a Google search and like I know a decent amount about Wildcat because I love Alpha Flight. I love Wildcat because of it. So I just wish that he wrote these characters with some sort of dignity, you know? Instead of just like, oh well, character. Like going to what Jake said, like if there's a character that I don't like and I write a story about it, I will do my character and try to fix what I don't like about the character. So
there you go. Here's a food for thought, guys. Do you guys think the fact that because he feels like he's on Spider-Man, that this, because this book is guaranteed to be a top 10 seller, that he kind of felt like, I don't have to put much effort into the writing, or, I could write the shittiest run ever and it's still going to sell?
I think he thinks he's doing I think he thinks he's doing fine. I think he just thinks the hate is only online. But there's no way to quantify that because I feel like most comic fans are online. So I don't think it's general audience.
Even by sales, Spider-Man is taking a notable dip. It's just still Spider-Man, so it's never going to be like unprofitable.
That's the only thing that would require Marvel to have to come in and say, yeah, we have to take you off this book if you're actually taking one of their golden gooses and their sales are dipping. It happened.
DC felt where Hulk was outselling them week on week. They're like, yeah, we gotta get this out of here.
Yeah, when Tom King was screwing over Batman to the point where he was in the low top 10s, and DC was like, oh shit, this should never be happening. So
what was that Comic Pop said? Shout out to them. It was like DC cares about sales. Marvel cares about the editorial room, what they want. But no, I think from Zeb Wells' perspective, he's saying that internet hate is just the internet. It's not really like indicative of his writing. But how do you really judge it? Spider-Man's always going to be the top. We know this. Other books have to fight just to get noticed as well. But how do you know what's this internet hate and what's like just like actual criticism?
By the letter page. How much effort it takes for people to go out their way to do stuff to be on the letter page? That's people that read your book right there.
Like I know that like they have to choose which letters go in and out, but I know I'm bringing this back up to like stuff that I like. But for the letters page, after Alpha Flight 106 came out, there were so many both positive, neutral, and negative stances on this one book that they had to dedicate a whole letters page a few issues later just for that. So honestly, if they care about their letters pages as much as they did back then yeah, maybe we would be able to see everyone's perspective, Like sometimes I forget to read the letters page, which I really should start reading more of the letters pages because it really gives an insight on what people thought of the time and what people think of now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And letter pages are usually more fully thought out than just going to Twitter and be like, oh, this run sucks.
Yeah.
Or et cetera, et cetera.
Because like they have to like, take time and effort to like think about what they want to say, Like
and keep in mind they're not getting paid extra for responding to letters. Yep. So there you go. Well, before we end this topic, who do you guys want to be on writing Spider-Man after Zeb Wells? Or who do you guys think?
You do that, I will tell you the one good thing he did do.
What?
I thought about it. The Gold Goblin stuff was generally good. I generally loved good Norman.
Okay. There you found
Norman Sins was a top 10 character for me. I said again, respect. I was very disappointed to see him turn evil again.
You found a gold nugget in the turd, Austin. There you go. You happy? You happy digging for that, man? You happy?
Depending on how this run ends, I might legitimately say I won't mind the whole run because we got Gold Goblin.
You know what, Austin? I had someone I was watching a comic book person talk about Zeb Wells, and he was like, I knew you would hate him because this dude was like, we didn't want to see a whole arc of Norman Osborn being good. He's the Green Goblin. No one wanted to see that.
Bro, the Green Goblin was dead for 30 years. Okay, you can get over this nigga not being the Green Goblin for a month. All right.
Cryptid, you have to let go on this rant before we move on. About the cover. That one's cover.
Go ahead. What's the cover look like? Can you post it?
Yeah. Remember what I talked about this before, but I'm gonna bring it up again. Remember the Pride covers from this?
Yep.
Yes.
So there is a Pride cover for this book specifically, where it's Spider-Man and North Star. Okay, I'm not a big fan of this cover. Honestly, out of all the ones that they shown off, this is my least favorite, and that sucks because North Star is like one of, if not my favorite Marvel character of all time. And another thing, I don't know why he's on this specific cover when you could have had like Deadpool or literally anyone else. You could have had Cooper Cohen and I would have been okay with that, you know? Because like at least he's in the lore and it makes sense for him to be here.
Hey,
but
Deadpool is
Peter's, we did talk about this. He has no relationship with Spider-Man. We didn't talk about it.
A few times they actually have been on panel together. They did not like each other. They did not like each other at all. Like if I wanted to take the time, I could grab my omnibus and find that exact issue because oh my god, they don't like each other, especially Jean-Paul, because like Peter Parker kidnaps his sister for a little bit when he was like in the black suit or whatever, and he was being a little bitch, you know, and it's like, what the fuck? Why is he on this cover? It makes no fucking sense. Anyways, I don't like this cover, and am I still gonna get it? Probably, but am I gonna be happy about it? No. So in conclusion, fuck you, Zeb Wells. I like your Hellions run. Fuck you on this book.
You just have to be a North Star completionist, which, right?
I know, but I'm not happy about it.
Hey, imagine how I'm going. Imagine how.
Off. And this is not a diss on the artist or anything, because I've seen his other works and they're pretty good. But like, I don't like this cover for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't hit. It just doesn't slap. Out of all the North Star covers that I've seen people do, this one's probably one of my least favorites. And this is coming from the same person who's read Alpha Flight 106 and talked extensively about that issue. And I could go on that for days, but we got to move on. Cool. We got to move on.
They could even have Web Weaver on there.
Okay.
You could have had Web Weaver on there.
I thought about that. That would have been very cool. Oh, I see it. Oh, this is nasty. Come on. I'm looking at this photo. They did that man dirty. Why they do his face like that?
Deadpool makes no sense. Those two have history together. They raised a child together.
Yeah. I don't know.
They have a DNA spliced daughter together.
I don't like this cover. You could have excluded North Star from these Pride covers, and I would have been okay with it because I know this did not do him or Peter justice, and I'm not even the biggest Peter Parker stan out there, and I know this didn't do justice. Sorry for
and
you know I needed to go on this rant.
A lot of these are terrible. It's like Daredevil and Rachel Summers for some reason. Valkyrie with Black Cat and Mary Jane, who they never met. It's not even like the regular Valkyrie; it's the brand new Valkyrie.
They just picked.
At least that Storm one was cool, though.
They just picked these duos out of a hat. That's what it is.
Yeah, Thor and Hercules makes sense. Hulkling and Hulk makes sense.
No,
American Chavez and Captain America. No, they're doing it for the name, but I meant like at least there's some theme here. Then you'd be like, oh, that's why they put them there. American Chavez, Captain America. That's why America. That's why she's there. Like,
the
other ones have like nothing in common.
A lot of thought to these covers, and I really don't like this year's Marvel Pride stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm not talking about Marvel Pride this year, because I'm just disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed because like the past few years, the covers haven't been my favorite. However, they did hit. Like I love the freaking Marvel Pride variant covers from the first year that they did this. I love those covers. I wanted to get the Wiccan and Hulkling one, but I wasn't able to get it, so I got the North Star one, and I love that one.
This can only mean next year has to be better than this year,
let me draw a North Star variant, please. I will draw his husband being adorable and cute with their child, because Contest of Champions is keeping Joanne alive.
But all right, guys, I think we spent enough time on this topic. We still got a few more. So, all right, then let's move on. And I'm going to announce this one. Marvel announces the death of Wade Wilson. Wow, Marvel. I'm disappointed, but I don't know at which group. Marvel, You are announcing the death of a queer character during Pride Month, and Twitter, you're not doing your job in mentioning this.
Wait, hold on. Okay, wait. Cryptid.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Wade Wilson had a thing for Lady Death, right?
Yes.
And they broke up. Wait.
Yep.
And they were gonna get together and be all happy and coupley and bullshit like that, right? And Thanos
Yeah.
was not happy about that, so he cursed Wade Wilson with immortality so that he can never be with her. Why would they do this?
But no, which
because he's not cursed with immortality anymore. That's been over a long time.
Yeah, Thanos took that immortality away from Deadpool during the Deadpool versus Thanos event.
Okay. Just curious.
But even then, like Deadpool kind of screwed things over with Death long before then, because like basically the flame the flame for their passion just dwindled out. Death is like, Wade, you're not even trying to kill yourself at this point. At this point, I'm just coming back home and I'm seeing you at my house just eating chips at my living room, watching TV, doing shit. Like, get out of my house. Like,
Listen, is a very
Cryptid, he's not dying. This is just how Marvel characters take their
No, they said it will be insane to kill Deadpool, but there you go.
Listen, this is how Marvel characters take their sabbaticals. They have to quote unquote die in the comics and they'll be back. Listen, he's just been in the game too long. He just wants to take a vacation. He'll be back.
I know.
Y'all joking. They're just gonna bring him back immune, bro. I'm
just trying to make a reference to what happened with Kamala during her death.
She doesn't have enough overtime hours. She doesn't have enough hours for her to take that PTO, so she only got a day off.
Yeah. So I'm like, damn it, Deadpool! Like Marvel, how can you announce Deadpool to be dying during Pride Month? Come on.
You could have waited till July, dude. You could have waited till
the movie.
The most popular queer character, and you announce he's going to die.
Well, I wouldn't say he's the most popular, but he's one of the more popular ones.
The merchandisable one,
that long because
the one with the movies.
Yeah, is he gonna stay that long? Unless he's dying in the third film. Like, what would he?
Now, well, this is going to be taking place in the pages of Cody Ziegler's Deadpool run. You remember Death Grip? Yeah, the guy who's like, he basically you look at Doctor Strange meets Iron Fist. He's all about the whole killing. His cult is all about finding new ways to kill. And when he looks at Deadpool, he's like saying, this is a perfect way to test out my powers.
You know what villain they should bring back for this, which I think would be very funny for a very small group of us?
Who?
They should bring back the villain Deadly Ernest, because he has a very interesting ability. And can I tell you what his ability is?
Go ahead.
So basically, if he touches you, you basically full on die. However, that only happens as your soul for a specific period of time. I don't remember the exact amount. And so once your soul disintegrates, you're dead. You're done. So if you can't get your soul back, you're fucked.
Wow.
And I think that would have been a very interesting plot line for Wade.
That would
just me.
Yeah,
just me wanting to play rep.
Yeah, that was one thing they touched upon in Black Panther versus Deadpool, where T'Challa brought up that, Wade, you've had to regrow so many parts of your bodies over the years that your soul really is the only thing that's kept original,
See?
Yeah.
I heard that story. It's like the idea of like you have an axe, and then you replace the head of the axe, and then you replace the handle. Is it the same axe?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I can make good points. I can make good.
Well, but joke's on you guys, because Deadpool lost half his soul in a short story of one of his previous wives.
Just half. That's okay.
Half. The lower half. Yeah,
to be fair, Peter lost half his soul to the Mephisto and only got it back when Doctor Strange decided to stop digging off his ass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Imagine what Deadpool's ex-wife plans on doing with the lower half of his soul.
I'm just saying. I feel like Deadly Ernest as a villain for this Deadpool story could be pretty interesting. Because if they could bring back Dream Queen in a Scarlet Witch book, they can bring back Deadly Ernest for a Deadpool story, and I will be okay with it because I love Dream Queen. Deadly Ernest was a very interesting character. He's not my favorite villain, especially Alpha Flight villains, but he's interesting Interesting lore.
There you go. I mean, that's a nice little nugget of continuity you could bring up in this book.
I think
definitely.
I think he died in Alpha Flight. I'm gonna look
gloss over it. Say this is like the third version of that character, you know? But yeah, and anyway, so yeah, Death of Wade Wilson. Go for it. It's not like this book is getting canceled, you know? So it's still gonna go on even after Wade Wilson dies.
I just wonder how they're gonna do it. They're like there was a you remember was it with Deadpool the end? Where the whole book was just him finding different ways to try to kill himself or different futures where he killed himself or something?
Yes, I recall that one, yeah. The end.
I just wonder how you're gonna get it done, I guess.
I mean, there
can be something big and spectacular. You're gonna announce it to the world.
Okay. I figured it out. Okay, he did die,
mm-hmm.
but there is a small chance that his body can come back because of Scramble, who's like another Alpha Flight bitch. Don't worry about it. He's right. If you know who Madison Jeffries is, it's basically his brother.
I swear, they're gonna come up. They're gonna come up with an Alpha Flight series next, and they're gonna have Deadpool be the leader of it.
No.
Why, you have a problem with Canadian leading a Canadian team, Witch?
No, I don't. However, I Heather or Michael or Eugene to lead the team, not Wade Wilson. Wade Wilson has nothing to do with Alpha Flight.
He needs to. Hey, eventually,
you're joking. In the Ultimate Universe, all those Canadian heroes might legit, you know.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, which eventually
Deadpool not bring up 1610 Alpha Flight in this household.
Which eventually Deadpool needs to go reconnect with his roots. You know, his Canadian roots.
Alpha Flight team, because you know how I know. You know what I know what's going to happen in the next Alpha Flight one shot or mini series or whatever. It's basically going to be a jailbreak, because if you guys didn't know, most of Alpha Flight, like half of Alpha Flight, is in prison right now. Because they technically committed treason, because Orcus is a pain in the ass to deal with. So fuck you.
Yeah. Well, who knows more about pain in the asses than Deadpool, Witch?
I highly doubt. I think my personal thing is if we're gonna have a jailbreak book, it's probably gonna be just those guys, plus maybe our mutant Alpha Flight members, and maybe a couple others. Shit, I want Wild Child's back. Is that a crime? Apparently. Yes. I haven't seen him yet.
Gotcha. But yeah, going back to the topic at hand, like, go for it. I mean, I know in Daniel Way's run of Deadpool, we had the death of Deadpool, and he's also had the funeral for a freak back in the 90s story. So, yeah. This ain't the first time Deadpool's died, audience, so, yeah.
And it won't be the last.
Oh yeah, let him have some quality. Let him have some quality time with one of his former lovers' death for a brief moment.
She's not even in there. She's on Earth right now, being reborn or some dumb shit. That book.
I forgot about that. Wow, my lady. Wow, my lady. The years have been kind to you. But all right then. I think we're done with this one. We can move on to the next. Who wants to do this one?
I guess I'll go. She-Hulk and Doctor Strange series coming to an end. I was not reading either one of these books. I was reading some of Doctor Strange first, but
Doctor Strange
eventually. What?
Is low key going right now.
It is. Doctor Strange was being written by Jed MacKay, you know, the current writer of the Blood Hunt event and that stuff.
Yeah.
And you know what? If this is just a personal choice of Jed MacKay, I can understand that, because like, dude had so many books to have to walk over, especially having to headline an event. I can imagine him wanting to take a little mellow down period. Like, okay, I don't want to write too many books at once, you know, like.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, it was what I read at the beginning was good. It was just so much other stuff I was trying to read. We had the Massiveverse still ongoing at the time and stuff too. Yeah, that just kind of got lost in the shuffle of everything.
Yep.
Was this She-Hulk run that you were originally reading?
Yeah, by Rainbow Rowell. Yeah, I mean, I've liked this run. It was a consistent run, but it's just not like one that it was good enough for us to talk about in depthly. I mean, you know, it was really a drama between will they, won't they, between She-Hulk and Jack of Hearts. It had a real Sex in the City sort of vibe to it, which I think the writer was going for. I mean, it was great. I liked it, and if Rainbow Royale is ending her run, okay, it was fairly good for the most part. You know, don't know what else
All
to
right.
say. I mean,
Yeah, let's say.
I really like the romance between Jack of Hearts and She-Hulk. You know, they were a cute
Did he
couple.
die again or something?
He came close to dying, but instead, what it was is his powers got altered to where, like, he cannot be close to She-Hulk because he'll run the risk of absorbing her radiation and
So
depowering her permanently, maybe. You know. But they ended up
that wouldn't
solving.
take a lot to fix her. You get a little more Hulk blood.
Yeah, but the way they worked around that was Jack of Hearts will have to go off and absorb a bucket load of radiation just so that his body will be too filled with the stuff to want to absorb more, you know? Yeah.
Is that why Hulk was in that book?
Yeah, Hulk was in this book.
I saw some in the
Yeah,
fight. Hulk was dogging people.
yeah. They did come like these two ongoing villains that there were scientists that were just pissed off at the fact that like so many superheroes were born out of lab accidents, and they're like, "Hey, how come us scientists who actually want to create powers never get powers?" You know?
That's a good point.
Yeah, yeah. You're telling me all these people get rewarded for failure? Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's
no. That really reminded me. Hey, go ahead, finish. I'm gonna talk after.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, they do have a point, and they did use She-Hulk's blood to get powers where it didn't work out the way they wanted to. Go figure. The guy became a Hulk, but he became stupid in the process, like a caveman. And the woman, she
Yeah.
got she got a giant head.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. One became the Hulk. One became the leader. There you go.
I know, right? Who wants a giant head as a superpower, audience?
No,
Giant
no.
headed man.
I mean, if you wanted to be an IRL Funko Pop, you could.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, She-Hulk was drawn really well in this run. I mean, the one where she was out in space having a date with Jack of Hearts, she was wearing a red dress, man. She was looking the best that she could possibly be in that stuff. So have to give kudos to
This
the
ain't
artist
the
on that.
'90s, man. We're not trying to be horny or reading a comic book anymore. That's not how
Hey,
that works.
it's She-Hulk.
Next.
It's She-Hulk. Hey, I can admire her for her beauty. I could tell
Yeah.
that. I mean, come on.
And we can admire someone for their beauty.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to say that.
But can we admire someone for their beats?
There you go.
Yeah. And you know,
Look,
we did get a few good moments with Jennifer starting this underground fight club with her and Titania to to let off steam, you know?
Why not?
Yep. Hey, having a day-to-day job is exhausting, audience. You just need something at the end of the day to kind of let off some steam, you know? So, yeah. Yeah, is what it is.
okay.
So,
Before we go to the next topic, there was the
yeah.
thing I forgot to say. We're talking about Jet McKay. Because I'm going to bring this up to Jake, too. Because, Jake, in Ultimate Spider Man, you thought the Sinister Six was a little bit too early. But they did announce yesterday that they just. In the issue where you see all the Sinister Six on the cover, they're only fighting two of them. They're only introducing two of them at a time.
Oh.
Okay.
So like they're not. They just want to show you what the full team was. They weren't gonna have Spider Man and Harry just like all six at the same time out in the first issue.
Oh, that's fair.
They're gonna be two, and then eventually they end up fighting them all in some way or shape or form.
Well, now
Mhm.
I'm certain that Harry isn't gonna die. So
But other than that, Jeff McKay has one thing that I did hate that like not even like the Paul stuff. His power level stuff. Like when you're writing a story, you have like some sense of how strong your characters are.
Yep.
His stuff was so inconsistent. Like any version of Spider-Man going on. Like Spider-Man couldn't break titanium at the beginning of his run, which Spider-Man been doing for like 30 years. And in the last issue, when Spider-Man fights the Sinister Six, I want you to know he beat Doc Ock in like 2 seconds, which is not consistent with any version of Doc Ock in like the last 20 years.
Whoa.
To the point where I genuinely had a problem with how fast he beat the Sinister Six. And it's issue.
Well,
Like this turning
about...
Spider-Man crazy. It's not gonna stop Doc Ock, who just dogged him like every book, or like the last 4 books, from beating him because he's laughing a little bit.
Are you talking about Zeb Wells or Jed McKay's?
Now I'm talking about Zeb Wells.
Oh, okay. You're going back to that. All right, yeah.
Right, but the last issue, he had the Sinister Six fight the Spider Goblin, and he beats Doc Ock first in like 2 seconds.
And this is after Doc Ock has those upgraded tentacles of his. So
the ones aren't being weird towards Peter.
Yes, those ones which
the
ones who are obedient to only him, to do as he pleases with.
Like whether you're reading Dan Slott or Doc Ock before this run, or even Doc Ock's any book he showed up recently, you know he's way more of a threat than he's ever been physically. Like this fight, the film Peter versus Sinister Six, just because he's laughing crazily, should not have been a cakewalk like it was. Like the power levels. I know people like, oh, you don't power scaling doesn't mean anything. Like, but if you want threats and everything to be realistic, your hero has to be realistic to what we know. And if Peter just slightly mad can beat everyone here in 5 seconds, then like, what's the point of this whole threat? Your whole run, he would just get beat up by Tombstone like 30 chapters ago.
Wow.
Tombstone ain't been a threat in like 50 years.
No.
Tombstone ain't been a threat since Spectacular Spider-Man the cartoon, and that was it.
Damn, I forgot Tombstone was a big part in his run too. Wow.
Spider-Man used to
the issue in November is about Tombstone coming back for revenge.
Listen, before that show, Spider-Man used to teach Tombstone the facts of life. Okay, that's
And I was like, I realized that everybody outside of like Norman's power level was like super inconsistent, and he just randomly popped up in my head when you said something earlier.
Got you. But alright then. Is that all your
Let's go to Bonny. Nah, let's get it out of the way.
Yeah. Go ahead, explain what happened. Explain the topic.
Year 5, baby!
Bonny from One Piece has a very extensive history I don't want to go over right now, but her power was initially stated to be age manipulation, Jake. She touch you, she can make you younger, she can make you older. Recently in this current run, they revealed that, naturally, no. She can pick what future and what past she wants you to be on. They'll say, instead of aging you up just be a regular old man, I want you to be a future where you have like Superman power. And then suddenly you have Superman power at an old age. She do stuff like that now. And in doing so, she copied Luffy's Gear 5, and people are very heated about it, to say the least. Because you did all this work watching Luffy grow up, train, do all this crazy stuff, to become Nika, this big god-like being. Well, Nika himself is a god, but Luffy has the same power because he has the fruit.
Yep.
And now you have this little girl who we just kind of got to know, immediately being able to get that power that people feel like it downvalues what everything Luffy's been through.
Yep. Oh, and keep in mind, audience, Bonny is 10 years old.
All right,
he's 12 years old.
Run this by me again. How do our powers work? Just say it one more time.
Okay, so she used to just be able to age you up and down.
Yep.
Now she can pick what timeline she wants to age you on. Right. So say if you right now you're gonna grow up and be like a news reporter. She's like, instead of that, I want you to grow up and suddenly in a timeline where you have Superman powers. And then you will have Superman powers as an older man.
Okay.
If she touches Superman, she could probably say, like, I want you to be the Red Sun Superman. And there you go.
So how from that does she get Luffy's powers?
Because she says, I'm going to change my future to the point where basically I have your power, where I'm most free like you are, and she takes his form that he feels most free in, which is the Year 5 Nika form.
Okay, where are we in the
She
story?
changed her own future to quote unquote where she's a future where she has Luffy's power, but it doesn't really make sense based on how her powers are stated because she wouldn't have his powers regardless.
So wait, if she just randomly said, "I want a future in which I have Whitebeard's powers,"
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
she
Like,
has.
Yeah,
what
from
does it
my
make?
understanding, it would, but it doesn't make sense because she's not changing like her origin or what her power is. You see how it confuses people. It don't really make sense when you feel
Yeah.
like that.
Wait, so, okay,
You already
so,
have your power. Changing the future will not change your power.
okay, I understand.
It does.
Okay, I'm getting it now. So it doesn't make sense.
It's,
So
it's
she
like if
can't.
she didn't have her power and she had Luffy's fruit the whole time with this feature.
Yeah,
Right now.
but but it's kind of a paradox because those are never your powers to begin with. So how do you have them? Does she lose the abilities that she had before to get that? Because that could be a trade-off.
For our understanding, it seems like she's not like permanently losing any power. It's more like say she's only gonna be like Luffy for like 5 minutes.
Oh.
But it doesn't seem like she loses the ability to age people up while having Luffy's powers as well.
I guess I should have asked that. So that's the limit. She can't keep them indefinitely?
She can't, but she can infinitely just keep changing the future to have those powers. So it's a thing like Ben 10, but the timer immediately resets.
Oh, so later Ben 10. I don't know.
Yeah.
Terrible to me. I don't need to know like
it's a slippery slope because it's just so late in the series, and you immediately have this brand new person. Well, she's not brand new, but she's brand new to us, so we just learning her backstory, which is very in depth, and everything was set up, but it doesn't change people for not liking the idea.
Yeah, like audience, I never even liked Gear 5 to begin with. I thought it was problematic as heck, and the fact that another person has that.
It's a power because the only reason she has it isn't because she trained. It also isn't because of
no. She's 12 years old. She is not really trained at all. She just kind of.
But it's because her abilities work in a way that allows her to do it. Which, as long as she's one of the only few characters that can do that, that's fine. As long as she's not like.
But it's more that people are worried that she can do it to anybody. Like she can just touch you and give you the power now. Yeah. She can touch the enemy and give them the power. Like that.
Also, if I remember correctly, because I'm watching a little bit of the Kaido fight, even Luffy couldn't sustain Gear 5. He had a hard time sustaining it. I mean, he could get back into it, but he couldn't. He was struggling to sustain it throughout the fight. And if he's struggling and he trained for it, I don't know how she's going to keep it. She can't like fight with it that long. I don't think that'll be the limit I will put on her. Basically,
we're
sure that's going to be the case.
Right.
But if people are more worried, it's not really about the arc itself right now. It's more like in the future. Right. They're scared. People are scared for like a Naruto situation, where like go to the Naruto war, and he gives everybody his power.
Yeah,
she can potentially do that because it doesn't take any stamina for her to give it to somebody else, just for her to use it herself.
She can give it to an army of people, or is that what people are worried can happen if she evolves the power?
She can change other people's future just like she changed her own. She just got to touch you.
Right. I don't know what the exact story is now. I could see a villain trying to kidnap her and be like, "Hey, like, give me that power. I want the Gear 5 power. Give it to me."
We already kind of did that off screen, and she escaped and saved herself.
And
it could be like a Harry from My Hero situation. But
Jake, that could actually be possible. There's now cloning going on in One Piece.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember back then one of the ironclad rules of devil fruits, right? You can't have the same devil fruit happen twice. You know, if you have like, let's say, the ability to turn your body into blades, all right, nobody else can have a power equal to that. Maybe similar, but not a 1-to-1 power.
Even if two people eat the fruit at the same time, only one of them will get the power.
Yep. But now, with thanks to Vegapunk, yes, you could create a clone of somebody and give them a power of a devil fruit, even if that devil fruit is still active in somebody else.
Yes. He's cloned like 7 devil fruits so far.
I think it's interesting because I mean I'm not for audience who doesn't know, I don't know the world of One Piece. So I'm just
jacking shit about.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting in the sense where it's like I remember when Luffy got this power. I think Krypton. I don't know if it was you, but someone brought up like, man, how do you combat that? And I know we don't want it to be like.
It's exactly the
To be fair,
Toon
this
Force
arc
from
made that
Death
argument
Battle.
way worse. Cause like Luffy pretty much dog walks our admiral, who was like the biggest level of the Marines.
Yeah,
And then he dog walks the Gorosei, who are like potentially the top 5 people in the series.
So Oda seems to be, at least that's if I'm just a guess. I haven't analyzed his writing enough. He seems to be introducing avenues that could be used in the future to make that.
Yeah,
like you have a character who can. I mean, this isn't just for Gear 5. Like, imagine if there's just like another villain that's stronger than Luffy right now. And you could use it for whatever reason. This character gets like again kidnapped in any way and forced to use her power. She could make that character. That character could stack Gear 5 on top of that. Maybe.
The problem with that, Jake, is that they probably won't do that. So Bonnie got her power through experimentation. She didn't actually eat a fruit.
Yeah.
Basically, they drank a fruit of its juice and experiment with that, and Bonnie as a baby. And that's how she got her power. But there's still a guy with that fruit out there somewhere.
Oh, okay, I see.
And that power.
Oh, so I guess it's just kind of foreshadowing that. Well, that's what I'm gonna imagine. That's foreshadowing.
Yeah, I don't think it's that the body stuff is that bad. It was set up clearly for this to happen. Yeah. It's just people don't like any of the implications because everything with One Piece. This story's been on for 25 years now.
Yeah,
there's so much stuff you still have to do. There's so much. The whole final arc is going to be a full-on war, and Shonen does not have good wars. Naruto Fourth Ninja War is not a good war. Bleach final fight, final arc in the manga, not a good war.
The Marine Ford War was pretty dope.
Yeah, but that was not the ending of series war. That's what I mean.
The problem with wars in anime and manga is like they're just like too long for the author to realistically like have good energy for it. It's like
exactly
month to month. So either week to week or month to month. This guy's working on the same dreary setting the whole time. So there is no break from it. There's no levity from it. It's just like you're just doing this thing over and over again. And as an audience member, you might get bored with it way quicker than the author will as well. So I don't think those wars ever end well because I think both the audience and the author get tired of it. But it seems so quintessential to build for everything you built up. So,
I mean, with all the build-up we've gotten over the past several years, especially in the past several chapters, I mean, yeah, we kind of are expecting a delivery of a war to be as dope as possible. You know?
But I feel like Oda, from my understanding, it seems like Oda is setting up the chess pieces because if Luffy is the strongest we got right now, and we're going into the war, well, unlike the Naruto war, Luffy seems to be the boss character, not the villain. So
yes, exactly.
We
we also saw. So Jake, the whole war is basically history repeats itself. It's basically the second coming of a previous war that's been going on in the background, or the person who previously had Luffy's fruit versus the government, and we see a bit of that in this arc as well.
Yeah. So
remember, Blackbeard's supposed to be the end game bad guy.
Yeah, it's Blackbeard and a person named Emu right now, who are the biggest, main pirate villain and the main government villain.
Yeah, but given the power upgrade Luffy has at the moment, I don't see Blackbeard winning. Like, damn.
Blackbeard's fine actually, because Luffy touched him, his power cuts off.
I guess. I mean, he's going to get a few great shots at Blackbeard before he could grab him. I think it's you have to.
No. If Luffy tries to grab him and manipulate his body, the power is going to he won't be able to. It'll automatically cut him off. Blackbeard don't have to grab you, touch you. If you touch him, it still counts.
Is One Piece monthly or weekly?
Weekly.
It's weekly, but Oda's been taking so many breaks, it almost feels monthly.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm not as harsh on manga fan bases as I am a lot of other fan bases because having to wait a month for a story to conclude is or a week can sometimes feel like a long time because anime stories are just typically longer in nature than a lot of the stories we have over here.
For reference, for One Piece, we're usually in an arc for 3 to 4 years at a time, so people get bored fast. And Oda right now is doing, let's say, week 1 chapter, week 2 chapter, and then a break, and then potentially another break.
Yeah, so it's like I don't feel bad for people who are. I mean, I'm saying people. I understand people feeling upset, but as the outsider looking in, it just seems like he's setting up chess pieces right now that are pretty much sound mandatory, given how strong Luffy is. If you want to have like a back and forth in the final war,
The,
basically. So
I agree. It's just there are already so many other pieces we have. Like we still got Luffy's dad and his whole army who's going to be helping.
We
Luffy has a
still,
fleet of 2,000 something people under him already.
yep. We still have to
Shanks
have
is still
Whitebeard.
around.
We still have to have Blackbeard get at least one more devil fruit.
yeah,
Yep.
but
We don't. We like Jake. It's to the point where One Piece doesn't end when you find a One Piece. We find a One Piece, and then the final arc starts.
yeah. I was like, yo, God protect Oda, bro. Like, whatever God you gotta pray to, keep that man alive. You gotta
Straight up, man, because I just finished sewing the main part of the skirt for one of my cosplays. And I feel pretty good about myself right now.
You thought Toriyama? You thought
Good.
you thought Toriyama dying was a world event, man? If Oda, God forbid, Oda dies before One Piece ends, bro, I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
God.
We're gonna get the One Piece finale before we get GTA 6.
Yeah, I just.
We'll get it before Blade comes out at this point.
Well, with Toriyama and Dragon Ball, you kind of reached the peak of Dragon Ball long ago. Oda, like this is just one long story. You want to see him finish it,
And when you finish it, you put all the issues, all the volumes in a museum, and you just have them in cases. And you just like,
I was about to say. I didn't like Year 5 either to the degree, like Crypt just said. I also didn't like Bonnie's upgrade. I thought her regular power was already broken. Because she could technically turn you into a fetus. Like straight up. With no repercussions for her powers. So I think she needed some power where she can manipulate the future of anybody and everybody from her aging power.
Like, hey,
so you didn't like Year 5. It just gives the idea of just seeing multiple people. With this a full army of Gear 5 people, it's just going to be a lot for people. That Looney Tunes shit takes all the tension away. When you see Luffy getting beat up, then he just grabs a man and turns into a pizza, which is the real thing he did. He turned the guy into a pizza, and he folded the guy up into a ball and shot him.
He did that to an Admiral and a Gorosei. Wow.
I like Gear 5 based on what I've seen. I don't know how it interacts with the story flow, but I like it for a couple of reasons. I like Oda's explanation of it, where it was like, I want to do something different. It was something that was like in the face of like, the transformations we see that get triggered with anger. And also, I like it from a writer standpoint as well, because when I was talking about war arcs, it is kind of nice that he has a character that will always bring levity when he needs it to just keep himself interested, basically. You know what I mean? It's like every time I see Luffy fight, it looks like the animators as well as Oda writing the story seems like they're having a lot of fun just figuring out how to make the scene creative, what's the coolest way to make this work. As opposed to if you're watching Dragon Ball, you have to think of the 50th way to get Goku's Kamehameha wave to look cooler than the last time you saw it, basically.
I think the animation of it works better than the manga adaptation of it. What are you saying, Witch?
Don't tell my boss about what Jake just said because he's gonna fight you on that. He's gonna be like,
don't get me wrong. Like Dragon Ball does it fine, but it's like there's some transformations like Blue where I'm like, this is like standard Dragon Ball, but and even Ultra Instinct, like its biggest thing is that it can dodge everything, but it doesn't matter if your opponent is stronger than you. So at some point, it's just gonna start looking like a normal transformation. But with Gear 5 doesn't look like Gear 5 is Gear 5. It's not derivative of anything else but itself, basically. So I understand. I like the form for him, and I like it for the story as it.
Yeah, it does make sense.
I can agree with that, but it's just like the Gorosei situation right now, where they want you to feel tense. It's like, oh, you have to say Vegapunk. Vegapunk might die, and if Vegapunk getting shot through the chest, Luffy's laughing on the side. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's like the whole time, like he can't control himself from laughing and enjoying himself. So when these serious moments are happening, he kind of takes you out of it because they can't help but show his reaction to it.
Yeah. I mean, Jake, it's funny you should bring up like the whole breaking of tensions, since we had like an arc where it was revealed that a whole poor deadbeat village where people are suffering of starvation, this and that. They ate a fruit called Smile that forced them to permanently laugh and smile and have all the negative abilities of a devil fruit with no powers. Yeah, but even at a funeral, even if you have a loved one dying, you're still going to be laughing and smiling.
I would love that limitation. Yeah. A limitation I would introduce to Gear 5 is if you give Luffy a real shock to his emotions, he can't get back in the form. Like, he actually has to be... say Vegapunk dies, right? Or gets shot, and Luffy is distraught about it, he can't get back in the form because he has to be at least capable of joy in some capacity. I think that would be a limitation.
When I tell you that after Vegapunk dies, it's just all happy dory because Luffy's laughing his ass off and Bonnie sees him for the first time.
Yeah.
So they just kind of go past it like the dude is getting murdered. And it's like, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would have it's like, if someone got shot and Luffy cared, then his form would revert and he would have to fight till he can get his joy back, basically.
Okay, that's one way to handle about it. We want limitations, Limitations offer stakes, they offer suspense in the story, The
only limitation it has now that it has a time limit, and then after that, it seems like he can't use hockey at all or anything. Sometimes it seems like his body's not even rubber anymore because they're like he gets hit and doesn't like bounce off or anything. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw with Kaido, if he's mad enough or he still wants to fight more, he can just come back out the form and go back into it and fight again.
Yeah.
Like, it does not matter. And they also introduced that him just eating food can regenerate his stamina enough for him to immediately go back in the form.
Yeah.
I don't like when because authors like to do the time limit shit, like, oh, you have a form for a certain amount of time, and I know that when I know that probably thinking like I will adhere to this, but I feel like every time as the story goes on, we just care less and less because they need to get the form back on the screen. So
didn't Dragon
The
Ball
problem is with Kaido, he didn't have a time limit. He just got hurt by Kaido enough that he reverted, and then he just went back into the form when he restarted his heart.
Yeah,
so we thought it was something else, but it went right after that. They decided, oh, it's a time limit. You only can do like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
What were you saying, Cryptid?
I was about to say, didn't they stretch time limit for Namek blowing up and stretch it into 3 episodes?
They such like
No. To be fair, that was simply because from their point of view, they're just moving so fast it didn't really matter how much time was left.
Also, it's because it was an anime. In the manga, it moves quicker than the anime does.
Okay.
No, but like in Dragon Ball, Toriyama was actually kind of smart about this. He introduced the time limit, and I felt like he felt at some point, I'm not going to adhere to this. So he made a story reason why Goku and Co didn't strain as much energy in Super Saiyan as time went on. And it was like the more they trained in it, the less of a time limit they needed. So that was pretty.
Well, they never did any form after that. Right away.
That should have been like standard regiment, but yeah. Like I said, I think I think for Gear 5 the limit should be emotions. Like a shock to Luffy's emotions can keep him out of the form, and definitely until he can get his happiness back. Basically, I think that'll be the only way you could really put a limit on it. But that's what it is.
All right. Alrighty then. With that, we only have one more topics of the night, audience.
If we have time, we might need to add another one because it's kind of really relevant. But we'll
gotcha. All right. Then let's get this over with. Which go ahead. You do this one. Okay. Which. So
anyway, Blade series post Blood Hunt. What the hell is he going to be doing after this?
This is going to be dealing with the fallout of what happened in Blood Hunt. Likely.
Blade anymore? He's going to be in the Spider-Man position? Or just being hated by everyone he knows?
I guess. It's a different status quo shit, which is something you don't really get with Blade often,
I missed the time he's just that delivery guy, and every book you have him randomly bring somebody something. That's cool.
Yep. Which?
Yes.
You were about to say something?
All I said was Blade is literally the Lord of the Vampires right now. I have not read any yet, so I don't know.
Gotcha. But this is post Blood Hunt, so we all know he's going to lose his position.
Yeah. in my personal
Do
opinion,
y'all?
I don't think
Go ahead.
that this is actually Blade, but that's just me personally.
Gotcha. Oh,
That's what I
another
was gonna
thing
ask.
is,
Do y'all think Blade is doing by actually making his choice, which would seem very unrealistic, or you think he's been controlled or something?
I think he's being controlled. I don't know by what yet, but I know
he's being controlled, but he's going to have to live with the repercussions of what he did. I mean, the whole
It literally
world
just
sees
part of
him
it.
as the one. Yeah, you know. Hey, you could get a good team. You could get a good moment between him and Spider-Man, like saying, "Yeah, it's okay, Blade. I know what it's like to have the world hate you." So,
yeah, J.
It's
Jonah
okay,
Jameson.
Pete. I'll be your black friend.
yep. Oh, this another tidbit of note to take with this news is the fact that it's going to be called Blade: The Red Band, which is going to be as gory as the Red Band comics we've gotten.
Hey, yo,
Spider-Man.
yay! I love that Marvel's doing this now because finally.
Do a Blade red, white, and black, white, and red. Yeah.
Red, White, and Blood. Like
Yeah.
Black,
Yeah.
White, and Blood. Marvel Zombies book. That was
I
a
guess.
good. Did you know the trade is out? You can buy the trade for those 4 issues.
Cool.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's true. But I kind of like the idea that there's such an emphasis on this being a gory book that you gotta take caution with when buying. You know, that's how this is being promoted as. And as far as the writer, does it surprise anybody to know that they hired the guy writing Ultimate Black Panther to write this book?
That's cool.
Oh, you're doing good, man. Black book. We got something for you.
I know, right? Yeah, I
I
bet.
mean, once he's good, I'm fine with it, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I need to stop.
Yeah. Ultimate Black Panther has been consistent good, on the positive side. So, yeah, we'll give this a try. I don't know what his status quo change is going to be. I mean, I would think, like, hey, maybe Blade's losing his vampire side in an attempt to lose the evil that was possessing him, And you could bet that Blade, you could bet that his daughter's going to be in it too. So,
I kind of think you make him full vampire for a while.
Ooh.
His human side always help him fight off the thirst. I think you put him in like the Morbius situation where he's like full vampire situation for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still annoyed that Morbius is not in this event. Like, where the hell is he?
I know, right?
He'll be the most help you can get. It's kind of weird. I think he's not here.
He should be here. Like, where is he? Like, he should be the one helping out Brielle and all of this, not Dracula.
I know, right?
You know what's funny? Wait, do you know that Blade got like his super speed all that came from Morbius? All he did, all Blade's real power was that he could walk through the sunlight. But he didn't have like any powers of vampires that he got bit by Morbius.
Wow.
So we
ironic.
For all of Blade's powers, cool.
Uh-huh. But yeah, I guess it's gonna be up to you to buy this book and review it, man.
Who said I was
buying I'll review Blade Red Band if I'll review the first issue barely to see what happens.
Red Band, I will buy the Red Band.
Okay. You and Austin will do it together. So
yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, I'll do the first issue. See how it is.
Mm-hmm.
We'll read the first issue, and if we like it, we'll talk about it. If we don't like it, then we don't like it.
Gotcha. But
Jake, if you want to do more topic, you can talk about the Disney thing you showed me.
What the fuck? What are we talking about? I'm talking about Superman's suit, bro. It's Superman's suit. You got a better look. What?
What?
I don't know.
Superman's.
I only saw.
No, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want Crypto to see it.
What Crypto? Do you care?
We already seen what the suit looks like. Why ain't seen it out of effect that good?
Better look at the suit. It looks a lot better.
That's not a better look at the suit. I've seen it. That looks terrible. That's what you got there for Halloween store.
Don't pay. I'm just
kidding. First draft of the suit, Austin. Come on.
No. I'm saying we saw a better version of the suit in the photo that we originally saw. That's why I don't think the behind the scenes suit version of it, where like it came from Party Century, is like a worth of talk.
It looks so depressing. We just got Lois Lane and Mr. Terrific, not the picture I shared, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at the set photo. This is the one I saw earlier, right before we went live. Lois
Yeah,
Lane's looking good. Lois Lane's looking good. I don't think anybody could
prove it.
go against that.
But you wear
She's
it.
wearing a purple. She's wearing a purple outfit. Come on, that's her
She's not
color.
even Korean.
Hey, come on.
I watch my Adventures with Superman. I am a Superman expert now, sir.
Mm,
It's not Lois Lane. Okay.
mhm.
Lois
Yeah,
Lane.
how you gonna have Lex and he ain't black? I seen the animated series.
Yeah. As far as Superman goes, it looks okay. I mean, I just want to see him move.
I like it. I like
Jesus Christ, like Superman is like one of the most simplistic designs out there, audience. I don't know why everybody's being so critical on like trashing this costume. Come
and the other
on.
one, the suit looked dirtier because I think I'm trying to imply that he went through some shit. So he also has the S on his cape. By the way, we have that confirmed. You can see it.
What
Okay.
the? Why is he on the cape?
You need to make it slightly different, which merchandise reasons.
But yeah, this is just a look of his clean suit. There's just him just walking about. This is what it looks like on the day to day before it gets like battle damage and all that. So
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, you look at that face. How can you not say that doesn't look like Superman? You know?
That's true. But there was another photo I saw of him, and he just looked bad. His face looked bad. So it was just the camera angle, I think. But yeah, he looks good.
Okay.
And Mr. Terrific looked fine too. I can't get the picture, but he looked pretty cool. Oh,
no one's watching Superman for Mr. Terrific, so you're okay.
You're gonna see him in the movie. Okay.
I just want to see that one person out there who's like, I'm watching this movie because Mr. Terrific is in it.
There's someone.
To be fair, there probably is some people like that. Mr. Terrific is a big character. Who hasn't been in a lot of stuff. This is his first big appearance. If you're a fan, you better come watch this film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's not. I just showed a thumbnail because I can't find the community post I saw earlier. But that's Mr. Terrific in the movie. It's like Mr. Terrific. So.
Wait. Okay. Yeah, I like this design better than what we got in Arrowverse.
Yeah. I like the. Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess we have time for one more. So in other news, Micheal Giordano, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Shout out to him because he might have lost his job at Disney. He was put on so there was this YouTube channel which I do not remember, but you can look up the interview. And they sent undercover reporters to go on a date with Micheal Giordano, who's the senior vice president and team lead of 20th Television, the Walt Disney Company, basically. And he was blabbing his mouth about Disney hiring practices. Come to find out that Disney does indeed seemingly discriminate against white employees.
Wow.
And I don't mean like they bully them in the office.
And if you're too dark, you got to be just white to make.
Yeah, I don't mean like they bully them in the office. Like they're not like calling them slurs and all that. But you will most likely not.
They do have a motto though. They do have a motto.
They do have a motto. Yes, I don't remember.
Well, it was like male and pale is stale.
Yeah. But if you are white, you are most likely not getting a job, whether you're more qualified or not. So Micheal Giordano is white, so I think he was in place before the practice was really exercised.
Yeah.
But he has said that he has been denied promotions multiple times, 2 of which he knows is because they didn't want a white guy in that spot specifically. He knows that because he has friends in HR that told him.
I have a theory, and I'm just gonna bring it out there while I'm working on my cosplay at the moment because I'm almost done with the skirt. But besides the point, I want to bring out this theory, and I want your guys' thoughts on this.
All right, let's go.
Do you think part of the reason why this is happening is because they want people to forget about all the horrible things that Disney has done by doing this?
I think it's just more that I think some of them in Disney actually believe they're doing a good thing, and I think others in Disney are doing it because it impresses their shareholders, basically.
Yeah. Keith Phillips says the shareholders are willing to put more into the company with the more diversity they've been hiring in bigger positions.
But you see what I'm
attracted more shareholders.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
But also he brought up some things too, like if you notice the emphasis that Disney has on queer representation, basically. So a lot of people online mistake that for Disney pushing an agenda. But the way Michael Giordano says it, it's not so much they're like pushing anything. It's just that the writers they get are more from those communities. So like if you're a straight person writing a story, just because those are your experiences, you'll write a story about a straight person. But if you're like in the LGBTQ, well, that's your life. So you write stories based on those experiences.
If you're a white man like Stan Lee, you're going to write the black experience for Black Panther.
You got to try.
But here's the thing. Alex Hirsch, the creator of Gravity Falls, he has basically went on not on paper, I wouldn't say, because it was a tweet, but you know what I'm talking about, where he was like, oh yeah, you guys told me that I couldn't have a queer couple in my show because of this and this reason, and then also for the Owl House, I wouldn't say it was because of the queerness of it, but probably partially because of the queer couple being like the main characters. You know, that was part of the reason why I got canceled. I don't know. I could be wrong.
To be fair, if that was the case, the show wouldn't got picked up at all. They already knew the people were queer before the show came out.
Yeah. Also, Gravity Falls came out way before Owl House, and they did
the mandate happen
to the end. So, like,
but you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about, but I'm saying I think the standards of Disney evolved since Gravity Falls. I think there's a clear shift you can see where they're more open to
it's also low-key kind of hypocritical at the same time, you know?
Well, I mean, like, at that point, what do you want them to do, right? Because they could just say no to Owl House, and then you would have Luz and Amity. Am I going to say Luz? Luz?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have Luz and Amity at all. So it's better that they just went back on that decision. It's just that he just came at a bad time. Honestly, that's what it was.
But at the same time, it is low-key kind of hypocritical, you know, because it's stuff that he wanted to do, but he wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, but if he didn't make Gravity Falls, you wouldn't get Owl House because he inspired a lot of those creators. So I mean, he did his job. I'd say it's not. I don't say it's the worst thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I would say it's hypocritical for your ideas and standards to change over time. But I do agree that he's getting a revival. They don't let him do it now. I think that's a bigger problem than not letting him do it then.
For sure. We also know that Disney will not hire biracial people if they are too white.
Too light or too dark.
Yes.
Wow.
There was an exception, but he didn't really answer that question. I forgot what her name was, but there's someone who does work in Disney who is light skinned. I think it's because she's a woman, though. I think that's the reason she gets a pass.
No, remember she had a disability or something.
Oh yeah, something like that. But yeah, so but the real thing that this comes down to, what are my thoughts on it? Disney focusing on diversity is inherently bad. My issue with it is like it doesn't have to be at this level. You're saying that people, even in positions that Michael Giordano is in, can be promoted above him with way less experience. That's a problem. It might not affect you now, but it will affect you later.
For reference, people, he's been working at the second in command for over 12 years. He's been trying to get a promotion since then. And the person above him, from my understanding, from looking it up, only had like 2 years of experience over him, like in general. And they got promoted to the head of the company.
Yeah.
They weren't even second command. They went from under him to over him.
Yeah. And so I think if Disney wants to do this, make programs that target minority groups at a small, like training jobs, essentially. Offer more internships because, like, God knows, like, a lot of kids, especially who want to get into the entertainment industry, those internships can help them make those connections they need to actually, like, get into Disney and be as competent as the white coworkers as well. So you don't have to.
They don't feel like that.
Yeah, so they're competing fairly.
That's weird.
After a white coworker.
Well, no, I'm saying essentially, like, there are people who are getting hired that aren't as qualified. If they had that training, they would be as qualified anyway, so it'll make a difference. That's what I'm saying.
No, I get you.
Yeah. And so, like, I feel like they should implement those type of training programs for those people before putting them up in the big leagues as well. Now, obviously, if you're in a minority group and you're qualified, get the job. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. But Another thing I did want to bring up too, that this also was made with the intention to fuel people into hating Disney more. In terms of how that makes me feel, I don't really feel any differently about Disney because, like, I don't know, it doesn't really bother me either way. I mean, shout out to the people who are working their asses off and not getting the job because of their skin. Sucks.
Like some of these revelations are kind of things that a lot of people were already assuming that Disney was doing over the years. So
yes, but it's different when you hear it.
I think we can conclude that Walt Disney would be turning in his grave.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. Definitely his body.
Yeah, I was saying.
Wait, the only reason we also know that this is probably true is because this dude had to immediately take a leave of absence, and he had to delete all his stuff after it came out.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. But yeah, I was going to say that it doesn't affect the way I see the movies or TV shows because at the end of the day, I only care about the final product as the consumer. So I
care about them getting whipped in the back. I want them pies.
Listen. They can take the moral high ground all day, but people watch Jujutsu Kaisen, and we know damn well those workers aren't treated right. Okay,
I watch it illegally. Right. I don't support them officially. Okay.
Let's not act like the average.
Jake, the last Mappa show I watched was Banana Fish. Okay, I have not watched the Mappa show since Yuri on Ice and Banana Fish. Okay.
The point is that if we take this to the anime lens, let's not act like people actually care beyond like, oh, that sucks, because these big animation budgeted movies, animes, they take a lot of manpower, and a lot of it is like their bosses treating them cruelly, and people might feel sad about it, but at the end of the day, JJK is the biggest anime right now. Okay, so like,
Jake, you also have to remember, not all of these animation studios treat their animators and employees like shit. KyoAni is a good example of that.
But my point is that the audiences don't care. It's just because they're already mad at Disney for how they affected their properties, basically. But I promise you, if these properties were good, I don't think people would be as mad. And that's not to say that it's right. I mean, there's a place to talk about it, but I don't think it should cloud your vision of the entertainment you're watching. That's basically what my point is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my opinions on the matter. But yeah,
Yeah, because you think I'm not watching Gravity Falls Revival just because Disney's a piece of shit. I don't know what to tell you.
But
frankly, I think Disney's morality in terms of the general public's reception to them is really down in the dumps in the past several years, especially after the whole South Park episode. So I don't think this news revelation is really going to make people say, okay, now it's even further down the dumps. It was already down the dumps,
Yeah.
So.
But it is what it is. Now there's going to be another video releasing this week, unless it already released, part 2, where Micheal Giordano finds out he is being filmed, and it's in the sneak peek of the video was them chasing him in his car or something like that. I was like, this is insane.
I think people get sued for negligence.
Yeah,
because they did not care. They're going to severely affect this man's life and his career and stuff. Film him secretly to expose all these secrets. And credit, when I tell you it's been multiple dates, like every video, I think they went to like 3 different locations. There's 3 different dinners. So they're playing a long con with this man's life to get these info.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've checked it now. What I find interesting is the big media outlet. I don't like usually using this narrative because it's overused, but it is true. The big media outlets that would usually cover stuff this big, because this is a big like revelation. They haven't covered it. This has only been covered by small news websites too. So it's just like something to note that like.
Jake, I never heard about this until you brought it up.
Exactly. So. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's such a big story. You're basically finding out in real time that Disney is discriminating off of race. They even use buzzwords so they can get around being sued. That which Micheal Giordano in the interview he talked about. You can watch this on YouTube. But like I said, it's just not being covered for reasons that I hate to say it, but are obvious.
I think Disney's going to push this under the rug as much as humanly possible, and then they're going to post like a PR-based tweet being like, "We do not discriminate against race." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Either that guy's gonna get fired or he's gonna get the promotion he wanted for so long. And we'll find out next week.
Yeah. We'll see this part 2 of the video, and then we'll see how big the damage really is. But that's
he's gonna get a lifetime contract at deep downtown Disney. Like sounds like.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the news with Disney. So
I personally that was way better to talk about Superman 2.
It was a clean suit.
I wasn't even able to finish the fringe on the skirt before we ended today's live, but I am almost done with the skirt, by the way. So
that means we have to keep going until which is done. Find another topic.
So if you guys don't have another topic, then
Sonic X was a great show.
Spider Boy, you guys want to hear about that issue?
That was all my time for today, audience. Nice seeing you.
Well, stay tuned for tomorrow as we do our comic reviews, audience.
Hopefully by then the skirt will be finished and I can work on the wigs more.
Gotcha. All right, then, audience. Thanks for sticking with us. So we'll see you next time. Bye.